Vocaloid is a thing, and lost media is also a thing. I like them both, so let's combine the two and go over some lost media subjects pertaining to Vocaloid, starting with unreleased and cancelled Vocaloids. There's quite a few cancelled and unreleased Vocaloids, so I'm going to talk about a few of them and go over why they're lost and yeah. So, our first topic is Vocaloid-chan. Vocaloid is a Japanese Vocaloid licensed by Lawson Inc., which is a Japanese convenience store chain. She debuted on September 13, 2011 and is voiced by Arimoto. Who's Arimoto? I already don't know. She's not a cancelled or unreleased Vocaloid or anything like that. Instead, she's a private Vocaloid, which means that she's not available for the public. Special. Vocaloid is based off Lawson Inc.'s mascot, Akiko-chan. Not to replace or redesign her, but to give her a voice. Whatever that means. When she was active, she acted as a navigator on Lawson Inc.'s Nico Nico channel. She had quite a history. She had merchandise, she danced on stage with Gumi, and even appeared in a Dynasty Warriors game represented as a cosmetic skin. I love the chicken. It's cute. She also appeared in this other game called Soul. I can't read Japanese, so I have no idea what this is. And that's some of the main stuff. Ever since 2014, she's been retired, and that's the end of Vocaloid-chan. VFS01R Ring Suzune and VFS01L Hibiki Louis were a pair of Vocaloids who originated from a fan contest called the Everyone's Vocaloid Project, where fans of Vocaloid can create a new Vocaloid design. The two winning designs were Ring Suzune, voiced by Mika, or Micah, I don't know, from Daisy Daisy, Daisy X Daisy, Daisy Cross Daisy, I don't know either. And the other Vocaloid, Hibiki Louis, we don't know his voice actor. There's a lot of things we don't know. They were announced in 2011 at Vocaloid Festa 02 and were intended to utilize the Vocaloid 3 engine. They were supposed to be released in September of 2011, but then it later got pushed back to 2012 till they got cancelled, or as the Vocaloid wiki put it, assume cancelled. But I like to say it was put on a 10-year hiatus and still counting. An interesting thing about Ring was that her voice bank had a beta release in 2012 during a small-scale fan event. So small that only 19 people participated. So, like, pretty small numbers of people actually received a Ring Suicune, a Vocaloid. And the Vocaloid itself was only usable for a month. Wonder what happened to this project. It had such good intentions of connecting to fans and letting them design a Vocaloid, but just sort of never released for whatever reason. Sure there's a reason, I'm just too lazy to actually research. Vocaloid. What the heck is this little goober? This is Vocaloid. Created by Airpoint Inc. and associated with Yamaha, it was announced in 2011 as a way to introduce the legend of Vocaloid, where basically they bring back dead people, like dead singers, as Vocaloid, hence why he's based off the deceased Japanese celebrity Hitoshi Ueki. That's Even though there are no plans to release Vocaloid, an album using his voice was planned to come out, but due to some complications, it never did. As for the legends of Vocaloid, there are some statements talking about bringing back Elvis Presley, but the only Vocaloid that's out for it is Vocaloid. The concept of the legend of Vocaloid as a thing is kind of weird and creepy, and robots are gonna take over the world. someday our corporations will steal your identity or something like that. But don't worry, I will leave you with this. One of the main reasons why this Vocaloid is private is because it was commissioned by Wiki's family. Weird commission, I know, but family nonetheless, I guess. Second thing, character Vocaloids are more popular than other types of Vocaloids. Why do you think that 90% of Vocaloids are anime girls? Their voices voiced by like a popular singer, or a voice actor doing a voice for a character, rather than mimicking a real person. So there's nothing to worry about. No, don't worry about a thing. CU's English Voice Bank. CU is an interesting Vocaloid with an interesting history, so let's focus on her more mundane stuff. Within the pre-release of Vocaloid 3, CU was advertised to be trilingual, which was odd considering that at the moment she only spoke Korean and Japanese. A fan asked SBS, which is CU's company by the way, about the trilingual thing, and they stated that CU had some English samples in her Korean library, but due to time constraints, they didn't have the time to make a high-quality voice bank. Later in February of 2012, they announced that they're working on her English voice bank. Yippee! And then a few months later, they announced that her voice bank was done. Yippee! They just needed to tune her and give her a fancy new design, and then nothing. It was stated that the voice bank was put on a suspended production because they weren't sure how fans would react, and they also wanted to heighten CU's popularity. Little fun fact about CU, she's not a bestseller, especially in Japan due to cultural differences between Korea and Japan. So it's assumed the voice bank was cancelled. But you know, maybe it was put on a 10-year hiatus and counting, or maybe it was just cancelled. Lost and obscure apps. Vocaloid and video games go together like cake and icing. It's pretty sweet. But when video game lost media happens, it usually renders the game unavailable or unplayable. This can happen in the form of lost phone games and apps, and there's a ton for Vocaloid. I'm going to talk about a few random ones from this list I found off the wiki, so don't get angry at me because I can't do any research and I can't read Japanese. I'm not good. Meizama, Meiziyama, Mazanama, Mizama? This was a free phone software released by Krypton, where users could use Vocaloid voices to talk or sing. So, like Vocaloid, but you don't really have to pay for it, and it's not a software on your computer, but on your phone, I guess. Users could also use these voice files for stuff like ringtones. The app also had a website at one point, but was closed in 2013, with the only remnants being site screenshot archives. It sounds like a neat idea, but I can see the issue with Krypton wanting to have people purchase their Vocaloid software rather than use a free app. I wonder if there's anybody out there who still has the audio files from the app. Like, are they still using them as a ringtone or something? Like, really makes you wonder. Fairy Wings! Fairy Wings was an Android AR app developed by Fairy Glasses, which is a company that focused on developing AR games, with this app in particular focusing on Aoki Lapis. They have a website from 2011 still up. The first thing I see after clicking on is this Nico, our cat thing, and a menu which is basically more information on different but similar apps. I'm not even sure if this app works either, I haven't tried. But yeah. Urayomi 575. Urayomi 575 was part of a multimedia project published by Sega called Project 575. It uses voice synthesizers to create haiku and danka poems, hence the 575 part. The series has a PS Vita game that received decent reviews, and the series also received a 4-episode anime series, and also the subject of this segment, an iPhone app called Urayomi 575. The phone app uses the Vocaloid 2 Light Engine to create melodies with the two characters, and I guess that's it. I feel like I was building up to something a bit big here, but I guess that's all. Hawaii CU. Oh no, it's her again. Hawaii CU was an iPhone 4-panel comedy manga about CU and a pet tiger. The manga was around 60 pages long. It featured other Vocaloids like Miku, Gakpo, and Akikaloid. Oh, yeah, her. So, with the app down, is there any way to actually read the manga? Well, from what I found by typing the Korean title of the app on Google, I found this community forum site. I can't read Korean, so I had to ask a friend about what it is, and I heard it's a popular forum site. The manga seems to be here, but it doesn't really seem to be like a 4-panel, like, comedy one. But then again, maybe the Vocaloid wiki is wrong about its description. It also called it a manga, which it kind of isn't, I guess. More of a scroll-based comic, and comparing the art here to the art on the app icon, I'd say it's pretty similar despite it being labeled as a fan comic on the site, but it's probably just a re-upload of it. I also found this download link on a different website, but scared to touch it. I don't know. I don't know why I can't trust. I don't want any weird malware on the computer. Metamorca. Metamorca was a phone app published by Sia Inc., starring the lady, the legend, the myth, Kaunika. The app allowed users to do fun stuff with her, like dress her up and play games with her. What a queen! What an icon! Too bad the game is, like, down, kinda. There's still ways to play the game. It's just that legitimate links to play it are inactive, so take this as an excuse for me to really stretch the obscure part of lost and obscure Vocaloid apps, and yeah. Dominoes! Oh boy. So, at one point in 2013, Hatsune Miku had a cross promotion, a legendary cross promotion, with Domino's to create the Domino's Pizza app. It's also created a pretty well-known Domino's commercial featuring the then CEO of Domino's Japan, Scott, talking to the real deal Hatsune Miku. Whoa! The app was later discontinued, but fortunately later found. That was quick. So what's up? Well, there are a ton of other videos that go into more detail of the hunt for the app itself. I want to talk about aspects of the cross promotion, since not only does the commercial and app exist, but there was a ton of original music too. Don't worry about the music though. Those are still archived. Another part of the campaign was the Hatsune Miku design delivery scooters. Let's go! Basically, if you're lucky enough, then you would have your pizza delivered to you on one of these legendary things. But imagine being the lucky fella riding these scooters. The lost aspect of these being that, like, these scooters might not exist anymore after the campaign ended, because they probably redesigned these scooters to be normal, average scooters, which is kind of sad, but it's the way things go. Yeah, but if these scooters are still around, then that's pretty epic. Not gonna lie. Lost Project Diva demo. This one's gonna be a quickie. In 2008, a demo of Hatsune Miku Project Diva was apparently leaked online and then swiftly taken down by Sega. It's said that this version of the game had some slight differences, such as choppier animations, different UI, and potentially having 5 or 8 playable songs available. An ISO was discovered at one point, but apparently it was just a 13-minute preview footage that was used for the PlayStation Store. You can read up here for information on that story. Sorry if I sound a little off, cause I got sick. So just wanted to say that if you're wondering why I sound a little different. Anyway, moving on. Lost merchandise.
You are so beautiful to me.
I actually had a little help with this one from Reddit because I can't do research. So thank you to the people of Reddit for helping me with this topic. With almost anything that gets popular, merchandise of that product gets made, and it isn't uncommon for those pieces of merchandise to be cancelled or unreleased for whatever reason. Sometimes only concepts are the figures released with no prototype content. Other times these unreleased products can get as far as getting painted and have some final touches, and get shown off in pre-release presentations before getting cancelled. Take this Lily for example. She only got the pre-paint treatment, then adios. Then there's this Miku plush, who's only got content of her shown, then gone. Cancelled by the maker. Now, stepping aside from Vocaloid for a moment, there's always the potential that figure prototypes could show up on online marketplaces like eBay, Yahoo, or even stranger places like Alibaba in some cases. I'm not sure how common that is for Vocaloid merchandise, or even if it happens at all, but it is a thing that does happen to other stuff. Also, remember that if you do see a seller claiming that something is a prototype, keep in mind that it could be fake. So, be careful, cause I doubt that the seller has 50 prototypes in stock. It's a bit of a doubtful story. Lost concept art. Vocaloid concept art isn't that hard to find. Just Google Hatsune Miku Project Diva concept art and you'll find a variety of stuff done by different artists for the character designs. Google Snow Miku concept art and you'll find countless fan-submitted contest art. Conceptual illustrations are an important aspect of design. It gives us some insight into the creative process of the artist, so of course we have Vocaloid concept art. Hatsune Miku was at one point gonna have a different hairstyle. Hair raising, I know. This design was later used in the Hatsune Miku If design. As for Rin and Len, they couldn't decide how long their shoes should be. Also, what the heck is this? All fascinating stuff I know, so how about Luca? That's the neat part. Her concept art isn't online as far as the community is aware of. Her concept artwork was shown off once in a 10th anniversary Vocaloid event where patrons were not allowed to take photos or videos of the art. According to people who attended the event, they state that the original design was punk rock inspired. Sounds neat. Maybe one day the design will surface through a concept art book release. For now, we can only speculate what it used to look like. I hope that it will come out someday. Lost Masa songs. Now things are gonna get spooky. We're actually talking about lost music. With Vocaloid being a software that anyone can purchase and use, this can open up the gate for anyone to release their own Vocaloid music, as well as delete their own music for one reason or another. Some of the more discussed and well-known lost songs comes from Masa Works Designs, who used to be called L. For those unfamiliar with Masa, he started uploading Vocaloid music on Nico Nico in 2011 and primarily worked on horror-oriented Vocaloid songs such as The Fox's Wedding and The Spider and the Kids Today Like a Lion. You know, the freaky stuff. Perfect for lost media. The three missing songs of his are Medical Wedding, Don't Say Goodbye, and Interface. All three were uploaded in 2011. Clips of the songs can be found in Vocaloid chart compilations and thumbnail leftovers, and That's all. Nico Nico links to these songs exist, but unfortunately they're dead. There are also blogs talking about interface, but they're no help, and there's a rumor that a private YouTube link of medical wedding is out there, but people can't really find that either. Not much is known about what the songs are about, but they sure give some early Vocaloid vibes, oh boy. Some people theorize that Interface and Don't Say Goodbye are connected in some way through the lyrics and how both songs feature Miku and Rin. According to some Masa fans, Interface was about two girls trying to kill each other. I got this information through a YouTube comment, so take it with some salt. Even they, the comment, can't prove that either. As for Medical Wedding, a commenter claims that it might have been about Gumi marrying someone and then surgically replaces her hands with theirs, hence the bloody wrists. Taking a hand in marriage a bit too literally there. There were a couple of times when Masa was asked about the songs by some fans, and he told them that he swapped computers at some point. Another thing I read was that he forgot about the song's existence. So either way, adios. The only way for these songs to resurface is if a re-upload is found, or if someone was a massive fan at the time these songs were up and downloaded the music. Though the chances of finding someone who would have done that is pretty slim because of how short the song's lifespan online were. They were only up for a month after all. People tried using the Wayback machine to recover the video using the dead links, but Nico Nico had the thing where you need to have an account in order to view content back then, and I'm not sure if that would work anyway because I don't know much about Nico Nico and I'm losing my breath. There's a part of me that feels like these songs have a chance of being found. Like, they were around at some point, but then poof? It's not like it's impossible. Ijo Agyo was another one of Masa's older deleted works that was found a few years ago, so there's a slim chance. Of course, these are only just a few songs from a more well-known producer. There are tons of lost Vocaloid music that was scrubbed off the web. Oftentimes, these types of lost songs use less popular Vocaloids, and so they didn't get any attention. It's strange to think that there'd be a true bop out there that got deleted because people never noticed it, and the only remnants are a fan's recollection of it. If you want to check out more lost Vocaloid songs, then I recommend that you look at these channels, cause they sometimes post some partially lost Vocaloid songs from old Nico Nico ranking videos. Here are some quick ones, like there's a version of Rugrats Theory that was discovered with a different PV. Sweeto has some freaky lost songs. Power P has a couple of lost songs. One is called 40 Days Off the Chicken Race. And the other is called Desire. This is just to name a few that were found this way. I personally find it pretty neat. Outro time! And those were some pieces of lost Vocaloid media. Again, I hope that some of the stuff gets found someday, and if I get something wrong or I missed anything, then feel free to leave a comment about it. Big thanks to my pals who helped me make this video, and check them out in the description if they're there. You'll see if they are. And bye!